Women have been conditioned by society to be, act, and think a certain way. Here at Girls IRL, we encourage women to challenge societal norms and embrace their femininity. With that being said, let's get into this week's episode. Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of the Girls in Real Life podcast. I am your host, Mariah Clayton, and I'm feeling extra cozy today. I have one of Justin's like extra large sweatshirts, and I don't know, I just feel so cozy. This is the last Monday in September, which is insane, but next month is October. I mean, obviously September, it comes before October. But anyways, if you guys remember last year, I did like a whole spooky season, like podcast series, I guess, for like the whole month of October, where I only did true crime stories for every single Monday in October. And while that was fun, I do not think that I will be doing that again, like at least to that extreme, because there was 5 Mondays in October last year, and that was just a lot of research and trying to find stories and then trying to be like a true crime girly on the podcast when I don't know, I really don't think I did that great of a job. But I know that a lot of you guys love true crime and listen to true crime, so I am thinking of doing just like one, maybe two spooky season episodes where it's like a scary story or like a true crime story. I don't really know quite yet, but I realize that I need to start thinking about it because October is literally here, y'all. So if you guys have any suggestions, just hit me up on the Instagram and let me know what you guys think. Like, I don't want to do stuff if y'all are not gonna listen to it. But I remember last year I had some pretty like interesting murder stories. So I don't know. I'm thinking about it, but we'll see what happens, okay? I'm filming this on a Wednesday, so the 20th. My sister's birthday is on the 23rd. So it was just this past weekend by the time you guys are listening to this. And I told y'all in my last episode that I didn't know what I was going to get her, and I still don't. I still haven't gotten her anything, and her birthday is in 3 days and she turns 30, and I don't know what to do. So hopefully by the time Saturday comes, I'll have figured something out. But really, aside from that, I don't think there's much going on this week. I'm going to dinner with some friends on Friday, and then Saturday is my sister's birthday. But Saturday, me and Justin also have a wedding to go to for a family friend. So we're going to be going to that on Saturday. Sunday, I don't even know. Like, I don't even think we really have much of anything planned. So I don't really have very much to update you guys on what's been going on in my life because nothing has really been happening. I will say one, I guess a little AC update. One, Ace has another tooth coming in right next to his first one. And then two, I told y'all last week that he was like trying to figure out how to crawl, and he's getting there. He's moving a lot more. He's learning how to like move his legs, but he still needs to figure out how to like move his hands and make them work together. But he actually does a really good job of just kind of like scooting places. And I built him a little playpen so he has a lot more room to just kind of like play and move around and stuff. So I don't know. That's just a little AC update. There's not really much to update you guys on with him, but he will be 7 months on the 2nd. So literally this week that you guys are listening to this, I think October 2nd is what? I don't even know. It's this week, I'm pretty sure. Maybe like Thursday or something. I really can't think of the calendar in my mind, but I don't know. My brain is going to hurt. But he's just getting so big so fast, and it's just literally insane. When they say time flies, it really, really does. Because I feel like just yesterday I was pregnant, and now I'm about to have like a 7 month old, which is literally crazy. But I really don't want to waste too much time in today's intro just because I'm kind of on a time crunch, honestly. I have a meeting in about 1 hour. So I was like, you know what? We're just going to record, and like hopefully I'm done within an hour or so, and then I can just hop on my call. So I just want to get like straight into it. Today's episode is all about letting go, learning when to let go. Yeah, don't really know what I'm naming this episode, but the premise of today's topic is learning when to let go. And this episode was pretty much inspired by The fact that I cannot fit into my pre-pregnancy pants anymore. I have literally been squeezing myself into my jeans for the past 2 months, just trying to force myself to fit back into my clothes. And I have finally decided to grapple with the reality that I just cannot fit into them anymore. And I told you guys last week that I kind of felt myself gaining a lot more weight and that my clothes were feeling a lot more snug than usual. But it's one thing to kind of like say that, and it's another thing to actively do something about it. So this past week, I actually went to the mall to go and find a pair of jeans because, like I said, I was just tired of trying to squeeze myself into these pants. It just was not working. So me and Justin go to the store and we try a few different places, but the first place we went on was Cotton On, and I tried on these pair of jeans and I decided to try on a size 4 because pre-pregnancy I was like a size 0, size 2. So I was like, okay, I should probably be around like a size 4, right? So I go in the dressing room and I try them on, and when I tell y'all it was a struggle putting them jeans on, like it was a struggle. Like when Beyonce said, if you don't jump to put jeans on, then you don't feel my pain. I was literally jumping, squatting, doing a whole thing of aerobics in the dressing room trying to get these jeans on. And I was like, okay, clearly I just cannot fit these. So then we go into H&M, and again, I pick a size 4 to try on because I was like, the Cotton On jeans, they were a little bit more rigid denim, and H&M is a little bit more stretchy denim, so I should be able to like fit into these and be good. And while they did fit, I got them on a lot easier than I did the Cotton On jeans, but they were still just a little bit, squeezing me a little bit too tight. So eventually I had to grapple with the fact that, like, girly, you're going to have to go up another size and you're going to have to try on a size 6. And when I tell y'all, like, this has just messed with my mental so much because if y'all listen to my body dysmorphia episode, it's kind of something that I've struggled with, is just looking in the mirror and not liking what I see, like being super critical of my body and the way it looks. And yeah, I just not had have not had a really good relationship with, I don't want to say I haven't had a really good relationship with my body, but I guess more so when it comes to like my clothes and the size that I wear, like I'm very self-conscious about that. And because I've been such a petite size my entire life, it was just kind of like, it hurt my heart a little bit to honestly like pull a size 6 and try them on and have them actually fit me comfortably. And I was just like, dang, bro, like I really am just gonna have to deal with the fact that I am not a size 0, 2, or 4. I'm a size 6. My waist is not a 23 or 24 anymore. It is definitely a 27, 28. And I just have to deal with that reality now. So, like I said, really, this whole episode has just kind of come from me not being able to let go of my pre-pregnancy clothes, and also just like trying to convince myself that my body isn't changing, that I don't need to update my wardrobe or my closet or even just things in my life. So I was definitely like being delusional. And I feel like in today's society, we kind of praise this delusion like, oh, yeah, you need to be delusional. You need to believe that you can do things even though you can't. And while I do understand that whole premise and I can appreciate it, and I think that it's useful in certain aspects of your life, I think that there are other aspects that we just cannot be delusional in. And for me, I was being delusional about my clothes and the way that they fit. I literally have a closet full of clothes that no longer fit me, that is no longer my style, that is no longer beneficial to me at this point in my life. And I have just had such a hard time with like letting these clothes go. And I'm like trying to check myself, like, why am I having such a hard time with this? Like, why am I having such a hard time letting go of these pants that I haven't worn in 3 months? Like it makes zero sense. But I realize that it's because we don't like to let go. We like to hold on to things. We like to stay in our comfort zone. We like to be delusional about certain things in our lives, even though they're not beneficial to us anymore, even though they're not serving us anymore. It's just hard for us to let go because we want to stay reminded of the good times and the times that we were able to fit these clothes and the times that we did have great moments with this person and the times where it was a great opportunity. And it's like we have to realize that change is happening. Change is happening all the time, all around us, every single day. And if we continue to choose to be so delusional about that and keep our mindset so narrow about things that are happening in our lives, then we could literally be missing out on opportunities for growth and development and learning lessons and all of these different things, right? So I really just wanted to kind of talk to you guys today about letting go, learning when to let go. How do you know when you should let go? Navigating the emotional process of letting go. We're just gonna dive into all of it today. So I hope you guys are ready. So for me personally, this concept of letting go is having to do with my clothes, things in my closet that no longer fit me, and embracing the process and also the beauty of my body changing. Whereas for you, letting go might be referring to a relationship that you're in, whether it's a romantic one or a friendship relationship. It could have something to do with a job, like maybe in one season of your life, you absolutely love this job and now your priorities in life are changing and you don't want to do this job anymore. It could have something to do with letting go of an image of what you thought your life was going to be like and realizing that it's not your reality anymore. So I feel like there are a lot of circumstances and situations that happen in our lives that cause us to kind of like reevaluate some things and see, like, are things changing? If so, how are they changing? How am I going to deal with this change? Am I going to continue to try and hold on to this old part of my life for dear life and hurt my hands doing so? Or do I want to be able to let go and release and let go of that pain and that burden of whatever it is that you're dealing with? So the first thing that we're going to talk about is identifying signs of change, because I feel like that is the first part of you kind of looking around and realizing that things aren't the way that they used to be. And it might be a sign that it's time for you to start letting go of some things. We're going to talk about identifying signs of change. I have a list of, looks like 6 here. So the first sign of change is a feeling of uncertainty. Again, this could be an uncertainty about the people that you're friends with, an uncertainty about the job that you're in, an uncertainty about a city that you just moved to. I don't know, whatever that looks like for you. I feel like one of the first signs of noticing change happening around you is this feeling of like uncertainty. Like, ooh, I don't know, like if I still need to be with this person. I don't know if this job is good for me anymore. I don't know if I need to major in this anymore. I don't know if I need to be around this type of environment anymore. So just having that feeling of doubt and uncertainty about certain things that are going on and happening around your life. The next sign of change is you have like this heightened level of stress. Like the things that you used to love doing are now causing you stress and anxiety. The people who you used to love being around are now causing you to have stress. The life that you decide to live is now causing you to have stress. Usually, when things are for you and when you are supposed to be there, you're going to feel a certain level of peace. You're going to feel a certain calmness. Nothing is going to be able to really bother you because you know that like you're walking in purpose, you're living in purpose, you're who you're supposed to be with, you're who you're supposed to be around, you're doing what you're supposed to be doing. But again, when one, you start feeling that uncertainty and then you start to have stress because of that uncertainty or because of things going on around you, it might be a sign that something needs to change. It might not have to be like the big picture thing altogether. Like it might not have to be the relationship, but it might need to be something in the relationship. It might not need to be the job, but it might need to be something within the job, right? So sometimes it doesn't have to be like, I'm just cutting this off, I'm not doing this anymore, right? Like a lot of times we just really need to reevaluate what's going on. Where is this stress coming from? Is it coming from my actual job or is it coming from this person that I'm sitting next to and I just need to move my cubicle over to the next desk, right? Like sometimes it could be something little, but sometimes it could also be something big. So identifying what is causing you to have this heightened level of stress is going to be able to help you pinpoint what it is that is changing around you and how you need to address it going forward. The next sign of change is you have a shift in your priorities, right? So this is kind of like things that you used to love to do no longer excite you. This lifestyle that you used to live no longer excites you. You have a complete, just different change in interest. And a lot of times this comes with life changes in general. Like for me, having a kid, there are a lot of things that I no longer have interest in. I don't have interest in going clubbing. I don't have interest in staying out late at night. I don't have interest in doing all types of crazy stuff because like I have a kid that I want to come home to, that I want to spend time with. So a lot of the things that I used to do in my late teens, early 20s, I'm not doing that in my late 20s, about to be 30, Jesus. But yeah, I'm not doing those things. I had a change in my interests, and I think that just naturally comes with time. So maybe that friend that you've had since you were literally 10 years old, y'all are on different paths in life. You're growing and developing in your life and in your career and in your character. And this person over here is just doing the same things that y'all was doing whenever y'all was in high school. Their priorities haven't shifted, but yours has. So now it's time for there to be a change. Like maybe I don't talk to this person as much as I used to. Maybe we just stop being friends altogether. Maybe I only come and visit you once a month or every few months. Like, we're in a different phase of life. Our priorities are not lining up together. So really, there's no reason for us to communicate as much as we used to. Another sign of change is that you feel stuck or stagnant. And this is typically a sign that things need to change. I mean, all of these are signs that things need to change, but especially this one. Like if you're feeling stuck, if you're feeling like your life isn't going forward anymore, if you're feeling like things aren't what they need to be, then obviously it's a sign that things need to change. And feeling stuck is a bad place to be. Trust me, I have been at that point in my life so many different times. And I stayed in that space mostly because I was afraid of the change. I was scared of things changing. I wanted everything to just stay the way that it was. And because we feel like that, we stay stuck in these situations that no longer serve us. We stay stuck in relationships where we're literally, falling out of love, or we're not feeling the same way that we used to feel about them, but we stay because it's what's comfortable, it's what we're used to. We stay stuck or stagnant in a job because we're afraid that if we leave this job, we might not find another job. Or if I have a business idea, I'm scared because I don't want it to flop or fail. Being stuck or stagnant is never a good space to be in. So if you are feeling like that in some aspect of your life, or maybe in many aspects of your life, that is a sign that something needs to change. And then the last sign of change that I have is you have a gut feeling. And us girls, we know that our intuition is our superpower. Like if we have a gut feeling about something, usually we're always right. Where we get into trouble is when we ignore those gut feelings and we try and like push them down or push them away or make them seem like they're not real, only to then be hurt by the very thing that we had a gut feeling about. So if you're having a gut feeling about something, I mean, I feel like I've given so many different examples. A lot of them have honestly been the same: relationships, jobs, friendships, whatever, right? Like I just feel like those are the most common ones. But if you have a gut feeling about anything, like you need to take heed of that. You need to be aware of it and just kind of see, is this something that needs, is there something that needs to be changed in my life at this moment because of this feeling that I'm having. So those are some of the signs of change that you might need to identify in your life. Now we're going to talk about how to embrace the change and the growth that comes with the process of letting go of something. Now, I feel like we always kind of preach this idea that change is good, personal development is good, but nobody really wants to do what you need to do in order to feel that it's good, right? Like a lot of times we are so scared of change because we identify change as a problem rather than an opportunity for growth and development. So it's like we preach this growth and development all day long and like we want it and we crave it. However, we're not doing the thing that we need to do in order to get it, which is to embrace the change. So, if you want to embrace change in your life and embrace this growth mindset, the first thing that you have to do is to be able to accept that change is a part of life. Like I said at the beginning, change is happening every single day, all around us, 24/7. Whether we see it or we don't see it, it is happening. So, if we can accept that change is inevitable and change is also something that is recyclable because it's going to continuously be happening in our lives, then we'll be able to embrace the change as it comes and be more comfortable with the change as it comes because we know that it's something that we're going to have to do many, many times in our life. For me, and kind of going back to my body has been very consistent ever since I was a little kid. Like, I've always been just very small, very petite, like very athletic. My body has never really shifted in weight ever. And I feel like with the process of like being pregnant and then having a baby and being postpartum, my body has changed more in the past 6 months than, well, I guess including being pregnant, my body has changed more in the past year and a half than it has in the past 27 years of my life. Like, literally, from gaining weight from my pregnancy to my boobs changing, like literally everything, right? To having my baby and then breastfeeding. While I'm breastfeeding, losing a bunch of weight, weighing myself and being the smallest that I've ever been in my life. I was literally like 115 pounds. I hadn't been that since I was probably 12. And then stopping breastfeeding and seeing my body change again and the scale moving up. I don't know. It was just really hard for me to kind of see that change in my body happening like so drastically because it was like I went from one end of the spectrum right to the other. So embracing the changes that my body has been going through has been just really difficult for me. But I have been trying to embrace like that growth mindset of my body is now doing something different. Like, for so long, my body was only used for sports and athletics and like pageants, right? And now my body is being used to actually create a life, to sustain a life. And I'm just in two completely different points now, right? Like, I'm in two completely different eras of my life. And so, of course, with that comes change. And because I wasn't necessarily ready for that change, it shocked me a lot more and it's affected me negatively mentally more so than I thought that it would because I didn't think that I would ever be here, right? I always thought that I would be that postpartum mom that was just ripped and got right back into shape and looked like she never even had a baby and all that stuff, right? And struggling with that mentality, struggling with that reality of like, no, girl, you look like you had a baby, your boobs sagging, your tummy a little bit bigger, your hips way wider, like you see these changes, you see the differences, like they're there. So it has definitely been a challenge for me to accept the changes in my new body, but I am trying to retrain my mind again to just kind of accept that change is an inevitable part of life and my body is doing what it needs to do in this season of my life to be a mom. So I think it's easy to get caught up on past versions of yourself and it's easy to get caught up on how you thought life was going to be and now you're looking and it's not anything how you thought or dreamed it would be. But being able to embrace that change and accept it, I think, is where you get to take all of your power back because you're not wallowing in sadness, you're not reminiscing on the past, you're not thinking of better days, right? You're taking the time to make your present the better days. So yeah, anyways, that's just something that I've been struggling with physically and, just trying to be in a good, healthy, positive mindset in order to embrace my body the way that it is. The next way that we can embrace change and growth is to display open-mindedness to new ideas. Again, I feel like so many of us have this idea of life and how it's going to go and everything that's going to happen, right? And then when it doesn't, we're just kind of like, oh, I don't like that. But because things didn't turn out the way that you wanted them to, now you have this closed off mindset. Now you don't think that your life can be great or be good because it's not what you thought that it was going to be. And that's so far from the truth. Just because you're in a place that you never thought that you would be in doesn't mean that there's still not room for opportunity and for great and amazing things to happen. Like, you just have to be open minded to them. You just have to take opportunities as they come. Maybe you're like stuck in a job that you never saw yourself in, and you just like to sit at your cubicle all day with your head down in your desk and just do your work, right? But what if you're missing out on opportunities to talk to the person that's next to you, and maybe you guys become best friends? What if your boss approaches you with a promotion that leads you to where you always wanted to be? What if the skills you learn in this job and profession are going to roll over into what you actually want to do, right? Like, I just think that we have to keep an open mind and see how things can always work out for the better. And the last way that we can embrace change and growth is to demonstrate a willingness to do things differently. And this is where I think a lot of people get tripped up on, because like I said, a lot of times we get stuck in our ways, we get stuck in this comfort zone, we get stuck in our way of life that, like, we think this is all that there is, this is all that I want to do, I don't want to do anything else, don't approach me, don't talk to me. I don't want to do things differently. I want to do things the way that I've been doing them my entire life because it's worked so far for now, so why won't it work anymore? But again, that comes with embracing that change, because things aren't always going to be the same as they were before. So it's going to force you to do things differently sometimes. Like for me, yeah, even though I gained weight, I could have continued forcing my body into these clothes in my closet that no longer really fit me, and kind of like have my love handles hanging out over the side of my jeans. But I didn't want to do that. I wanted to embrace the changes of my body and understand that, like, I don't have to fit into my clothes. My clothes need to fit me. So what did I have to do? I had to demonstrate a willingness to do things differently. I had to demonstrate to myself, I'm going to go to the store, I'm going to try on these jeans, and I'm going to find something that actually fits and works for my body right now. Because if I would have just stayed stuck in the mindset of, I'm going to lose all this weight and I'm going to make sure that I can fit back into my clothes. Okay, now I'm on an unhealthy journey with the gym, because I'm only in the gym to try to lose weight to fit into something that no longer fits me. I'm constantly going to be weighing myself to see how much weight that I've been losing. I'm going to stress myself out and like make myself emotional when I don't hit my goals. Like, it just would have not been a good situation for me to try and just, like, with all my might, do everything I can to fit back into these clothes. Like, at what expense? My sanity, my mental health? Like, no, I didn't want to do that. That's for me, but it might look a little bit different for you. Whatever that looks like for you, whatever ways that you're stuck in, whatever way that you've trained your mind to just kind of do this and only this. Part of embracing the change is demonstrating your ability to shift and adapt. So the only way that you can embrace that change is to start to do things differently, because you realize, like, things aren't the same way that they used to be. So now, like, I need to figure out what I got to do in order to make whatever phase of my life that I'm in right now work. And I know that that is easier said than done, right? Like, it is easy to just say, let go, embrace the change, like, do what you need to do. But sometimes it's just hard. So, of course, I'm going to give you guys some tips for letting go and how to let go. I feel like I've had so many lists this entire episode, but we got another list. So, the first tip that I have for letting go is to accept what you can't change. You cannot have control over every single aspect of your life. Even though we like to think that we do, we really don't. And so, when things happen that are out of our control, we're constantly trying to think of, like, how we can fix it, how we can make it perfect, how we can get things to go back to the way that they were. But there are always going to be extraneous factors that, like, we will not ever be able to control or manipulate. So if you can accept the things that you can't change, then it will be easier for you to let go, because you realize, I have no power over this. Like, whatever I do, whatever I try with all my might, like, I can't get it back to the way that it used to be. So being able to accept those things will allow you to have a healthier, more positive mindset when it comes to actually, like, letting something go. The next tip for letting go is to recognize that holding on will hold you back. Now, again, back to me, because it's all about me. No, I'm just kidding. But seriously, back to me. Like, I was trying so hard to just like hold on to all of these clothes that I would think that I could think that one day I'll be able to fit back into, holding on to this idea of like this past version of myself, holding on to like all of these things that I wanted to do before I got pregnant with Ace and now I never will get to do, just like holding on to all of this stuff, right? But I had to realize that like holding on to all of that was really just holding me back. It was holding me back from living in the present moment with Ace. It was holding me back from making good, positive memories right now because I was so focused on my past and my future that, like, I was just ignoring everything that was happening around me. Like, I don't know. I just had to realize that holding on to all of these things was doing more harm than good, even though I feel like I had a good intention of why I was holding on to these things, why I was holding on to maybe like these dreams that I had, like dreams of wanting to model and wanting to move to LA and New York and like all this stuff, right? Like, but that was at a different time in my life. And that's not to say that I still don't want to do those things. It's just something that I can't and I don't want to do right now. Like, my priorities have changed. My priorities have shifted. So holding on to a life that I thought I was going to get to live, holding on to this idea of how I wanted my life to be made it that much harder to accept my reality and to like just again be present in the moment. So even though you might have good intentions of holding on to all of these things, whether it's old clothes, whether it's a dream, whether it's a life that you want to live, like, obviously, I want you guys to have dreams and I want you guys to create goals and go after them. Like, that is the whole premise of why I do this podcast. Like, I want you guys to live a fearless and filter free life and go after the things you want. However, I really want y'all to like take a look around you. Like, have your priorities shifted? Are you in a space where you're able to achieve that thing? Are you even capable of achieving that thing? Like, really just being honest with yourself, right? Like, brutally honest. Is it something that is doable at this moment in your life? And if it's not, then like you just have to let it go. Like, seriously. I mean, it sounds harsh and it's a lot harder than it sounds, but you just have to let it go. And what's that saying that they say? If you let it go and it comes back, then it was meant for you, or something like that. I don't really know how that saying goes, but just because you're at a point in your life where you're not able to work towards that thing right now, or you're not able to be with that person right now, or you're not able to do that job right now, doesn't mean that you'll never be able to do it. But you have to look at where you're at in your life and embrace the fact that, like, okay, and this has changed for me, and now I'm stuck here right now. Not stuck, I don't want to say stuck. Now I'm in this phase of my life right now, and so I need to embrace the change and the growth that is going to happen for me in this phase of my life, so that when I'm able to get to my next dream, my next goal, my next accomplishment, I can take the lessons and things that I learned during this moment and apply it to the next phase of my life. I'm not saying that it's never going to happen for you. I'm not saying that I might not ever get to move to New York or LA. I mean, like, who freaking knows? But for me right now, I just know that like that's not where my priorities lie. So I don't even know how I got on this topic. But yeah, just recognize that like holding on to things will only hold you back. So really take a good look around at the things in your life that you are just holding on to for dear life. Why are you holding on to those things? Is it helping you or harming you more so to do that? Is it a motivator or is it a stress factor, right? Like, really evaluate this thing that is in your life so that you know, okay, it's time for me to let this go. It is time for me to just like let go of the reins, let life do its thing, accept what's coming to me, accept the changes that are happening, and just let life happen. And then once you recognize that holding on to all of those old things are holding you back, now you need to start making room for the new thing. So for me, obviously, this would be cleaning out my closet, which I do plan on doing. I plan on going through every single piece in my wardrobe and cleaning it out, getting rid of anything that doesn't fit me, that isn't my style anymore, that I was saving for maybe I might be able to wear this. No, like, I just need to deep clean my closet and like go through it and make space for the new clothes, the new style, and the new mindset and energy that I have in regards to my physical body. But whatever that looks like for you, it might not be your clothes, it might be your relationship. Like, maybe you're in a toxic relationship that you're holding on to because y'all have been together since high school and you don't want to waste your time with anyone else, or you're you're scared that you'll never be able to find anyone as good as this person. Newsflash, I am a living testament that you can. Y'all know I was in a relationship for 7 years. I had gotten to a place where I felt stuck, where I felt stagnant, where I just felt too comfortable in this relationship, and I was growing and developing, and this other person just was not. So I had to make a decision to let go of that relationship that I held dear to my heart for years and years, and realize that just because I spent so much time with this person doesn't mean that I have to tie myself to them for the rest of my life at my own expense, you know? So being able to get rid of whatever it is that you're holding on to and making space for the new things, the new opportunities, the new people, the new accomplishments, right? You never know what is waiting for you on the other side of just taking that leap of faith and leaving behind whatever it is that you need to let go of. And then after you make space for the new, you need to embrace the new. Embrace the new changes that are happening around you. And when you embrace it, you don't need to compare it to other seasons of your life. Like, just embrace the new as it's happening, and don't try and compare it to your past relationship or your past job or your past city, right? Like, be open-minded and really see whatever the new thing that you just embrace, see where it can take you. And like I said, I know that it's easier said than done. Trust me, I get it. But it's a process that takes time, just like any other part of our life. The process is where you grow and you develop and you learn things about yourself, right? Like, I feel like I've said this so many times. The process is the hardest part, but the process is where, like, your character and your values and your morals and your skills and your work ethic, like, that is where it's all built, in the process. So yes, it's a process that takes time, but it is a process that is worthwhile, because you're going to get to a point in your life where, when things are changing around you, you're not scared of it. You're not stressed out by it. You're not opposed to it. You're going to be like, okay, I'm going to go with the flow here. I'm going to embrace the change, and I'm going to learn what I need to learn in this moment, and life is going to change again. It's a constant recycling process of just like identifying the changes actually happening, the ability to embrace the change and like move forward with your life and make room for all the new things that could be coming your way, right? It is just like this never ending cycle, but it starts with a decision and with an active choice to actually move on. Life literally waits for no one, okay? It don't matter if you are depressed and sitting in your room for months. Life on the outside is still going on. People still making moves. People still doing stuff, right? Like, just because you sat and having a pity party doesn't mean that life is going to wait on you to like catch up. No, life is going to continue happening. So you can either be a part of the wave and the change that is occurring every single day, or you can be that person that stays in their comfort zone, stays stuck, stays stagnant, stays trying to fit into their size 2 jeans when they know they're a size 6. Hello. But then when you do that, you're missing out on so much more of life, because you're so concerned with trying to keep things as they are and trying to keep things safe and in its like perfect little box, that you're just missing out on everything else that's happening in the world. You need to free yourself from the burdens of like holding on to things that no longer serve you, holding on to things that no longer benefit you, holding on to things that no longer identify with you. Because the more that you hold on to those things, the more that you are falling victim to it. Because now these thoughts and these feelings, they're starting to control you. They're starting to define you. And it's just not a healthy space to be in. So I hope that by listening to this episode, you are able to kind of reevaluate your life, get outside of yourself, and look and see, where are things changing? Where are things that I'm holding on to that I don't need to be holding on to anymore? What am I holding on to that is actually holding me back? Take note of it and then do something about it. Really ask yourself, is this thing worth holding on to? Is this thing worth me stressing out over? And if it's not, it's okay to just let it go. I don't want you guys to be delusional in a bad way. I don't want you guys to be stuck and stagnant. I don't want you guys to try to convince yourself otherwise of something that you already know is not good for you anymore. Change is an inevitable part of life, and you can either embrace it or fight it. But I promise you, fighting it is going to do way more harm than good, and you're going to miss out on so many different opportunities in your life that could cause you to grow and develop into the person that you always wanted to be. The very thing that you want to happen could actually be on the other side of change, and you just don't even know it yet. Life has a funny way of doing that to us, right? Embrace the change, keep an open mind, and know that everything will work out the way that it is supposed to. So, yeah, anyways, that was a lot. That felt like a lot. It's so funny to me how, like, I just kind of take the things that are going on in my actual personal life and try and develop it into this like deep inspirational message. Like, I have no idea if I made any sense this entire episode, and I don't even know if this is going to resonate with anybody, but I just felt like, you know what, this is something I'm struggling with right now. I'm really struggling with letting go of these clothes. Like, how can I actually apply this to other areas of my life and kind of like pinpoint where I other areas where I also struggle to let go. But yeah, anyways, I hope that this episode was enjoyable. I hope that you guys learned something. I hope that you are able to kind of, again, look at your life and see the areas where you need to start embracing that change and let go of the things that you need to let go of. I finished in just enough time to make it to my call, so I'm going to go ahead and end this episode here. But I love you guys so much. I hope you have a great Monday, a great week, and I will talk to y'all in my next episode. Bye.